Hello and welcome to an EngView video. Today we're going to show the full workflow from basically pulling something out of the library, resizing it, nesting. We can change material thickness if we need to, but then in a lot of these processes you might want to cut and crease on the rear side but print on the front side, and you use registration marks. So let's just kind of jump in and let's go see. I'm going to go and open our library here. And we've got over 2,500 resizable design that displays that. I'm going to go into the corrugated library, and if you'll see when we hover over these different boxes, you can see what the 3D model of that. I'm going to jump in and just kind of grab my favorite pizza box. That's what we'll do this project with today. You'll see here I could open it in Adobe Illustrator, I could open it in EngView. But before I do that, even before I get into the program, I can click and I can see a full folding 3D representation of the box. I can fold it back up, and then if you see here, we can tell like the green lines are creasing and the red lines are cutting. Let's go ahead and open this in EngView. Same thing, you'll see our box here. And let's go over in the 2D line, and if you double click on the L, you can see that's the length and this is the width. And so let's just come in here and let's resize this box. We'll make it a small one just for a quick test. So we'll say 4 by 5 by 1.5. We'll zoom in here and you can see, and by the way, if I click on one of these tabs like this, you get more parameters that you can adjust. If I wanted to adjust this tongue, I click on that and I get more parameters that I could adjust. So everything is easy to change. So let's say that we want to maybe change the material thickness. So if I click on properties and I see right now that I got E flute brown, if I come up here to like B flute white, watch what happens over here on the side. When I say okay, notice every one of those joints and everything changes and does all that work for you. We've got tons of years of experience figuring that out. But let's, in our case, we do want to run an E flute. So we'll go back down to E flute brown and say, okay. Let's go look at our 3D model. So we'll hit refresh and we can look at this. Let's say we zoom in here a little bit. I got some nice keyboard hotkeys that I can move in and out. We can also look at this box in a solid wire or a transparent, this kind of stuff, so you can really troubleshoot it. And you can also look at it in any step that you want. So let's go ahead and now let's do a layout of this box. So I'll click on the layout key, and right here, I'm going to just do a quick nest. I'm going to throw this on a small sheet for my test. And so you'll see right here, there's our quick nest. Let's throw some registration marks on there, and I've got a couple different options, but you'll notice in this case we're running on the Mimaki CFX, so we want to use these square ones. Now, I'm only going to cut 3 of these. I had something else on the end of the sheet that I wanted to miss, and so let's highlight this box here and delete it. And you'll notice that my registration marks automatically adjusted for us. The sheet adjusted too, because if you look here, we've got this trim options connected on the sheet. So we can make quick adjustments on the fly if we need to. And we're just going to say okay to this. And let's come in here and we're going to go to file, or actually we just click on save. And let's just call this quick pizza box. That's a small one. Save it. All right. We'll close out of here. Let's go into Illustrator. Let's open a file and EngView, EBD, and there's our quick box. Say okay. So now you see our box, and we get a nice 3D view because we have this plugin inside of Illustrator. And so if we put our graphics and stuff on, we'll be able to see that in real time. So let's just grab some basic graphics. I'm not a graphic artist, but we'll throw this out here and move this kind of over, something like so. Okay, so now you can see there's our graphics on our box. Now, one of the things we want to do is we want to be able to print this out. So I'm going to go to our layout that we created a minute ago, and I'm going to go do our bleed offsets. So right here, I can set a value. I can do the front side or rear side, and we'll say okay. So now you'll see that we've got our bleed offsets ready to go here. And so I can like turn off the die lines, for example, and that way you'll just see the registration marks in this. We can go and file and save as, and we can save it on our computer and maybe say we want this to be a PDF. We'll say PDF, and let's go this pizza print. Okay, and so now that file's ready to go. Save as PDF. Let's get out of here so we can send that to the printer. I'm just not going to go here. And now I actually want to create my toolpath. I should have done that a minute ago, but you can do it in any order. And we're linked to EngView, so I can go back into Package Designer. So first, let's decide what we want to be cut on the front and cut on the rear. So let's go into our layers here. We have different tabs over here, and I'm going to go into layers. And let's say that we want our structural design. That's our sheet. Here's our structural design. Let's put our structural design on the rear. Okay, and then, you know, the rest will be on the front. Registration marks will be on the front. Let's go create a cam of this, our tool path. And we have our tooling set up here. And so we can come in and decide, like, let's say on our front tool, or we have different scenarios here. We can flip on one direction, flip on another. You can save different formulas, but let's just say here that we want to have our cutting velocity be 30 centimeters per second. And we're going to run a flat blade on this other side. Let's see what speed we have on here. We've got 20. We can override the depth. There's a number of different things. And then we can also choose what order we want these tools to run in. So for example, we want our creasing front to be first, creasing rear to be second. We don't have any creasing front. And then of our cutting tools, our flat blade would be first, but we can change this order. And once we change and get all the parameters just right, we can save it and just pull it up as a template, which saves us a ton of time. But let's go ahead and we'll drop a quick toolpath on here and we'll say, okay. And if we want to preview how it's going to be, notice this here, I can kind of just play through it, or our registration marks are there. We ran them. Now notice this says we're creasing on the rear, and then the flat blade will cut on either side. But since creasing went first, it'll run there, and there it goes. All right. And so now all we have to do is save this entire project, and we can open it up on the computer that is connected to the machine. Or we could just drop it out right here and we can send it. So in our case, we'll save the project and let's go to the other machine.
All right, here I'm with the Mimaki CFX machine. We're outputting from EngView Direct, and we're going to show this is printing on one side and cutting on the other. So I'm going to go ahead and send the job over. So I'm just going to click on my NC button over here, pick my printer, and say, oh, I need to actually put the machine in remote mode, so we'll do that. So it's now ready. We'll say okay to the printer. So the machine will come over here, and the way we have this set up is it has double-sided setup, so we want to be able to read the registration marks. So the first thing it does is it comes up and it asks me if to detect the edge. So I'm going to move over to the edge. We got a little red pointer here. We'll get close to the edge. All right, so we're close enough, and I'm going to hit enter. And so what the camera will do is it'll come over and it'll find the edge of the print. And once it does that, it's going to find two more edges. So it'll find an edge here, and then it'll come and find the next edge right here. All right, so now that it's detected the edges, the next thing it's going to do is it's going to prompt me to find that first registration mark. So we'll move over to our registration mark. We're pretty close. Probably could have found it already, but we'll move over here a little bit more. All right, close enough. We'll hit enter again. So now it should come and find the registration marks. So you'll see, there we go. We found the first one. We'll go find the next ones. And it's kind of cool with the square rotation marks is if we turn the sheet a lot, that first mark, it's not only finding the center of it, but it's actually looking at the shape to find the actual rotation to where to find the next mark. Okay, so now it's come up and it says turn over the work and press the enter key. So we're going to turn over the work. Okay, and so now, there we go. We'll hit enter. So now it's going to come back, and we're going to now go find this edge over here. Okay, so now we'll move over. Okay, hit enter. So now it'll edge detect this edge, and that way it knows exactly where the print is on the other side of the sheet, which is pretty useful for us. So do the same thing. It'll find two more points, and then it'll crease and cut. So there's our other edge. So now we're creasing along. This will happen. I'll go ahead and speed up the video probably after this, and then we'll pick up and see what we got. All right, so now you see we've just switched tools. So now we'll start doing all the cutting. And you have a choice when you're doing this. We decided to go ahead and process all of the creasing first and then do the cutting second. But you can do each part if you want to, depending on what your workflow is. But obviously creasing everything first and then cutting is going to be the fastest. All right, so now our job's complete. Let's take a look and see the other side here. And if you look, we've got a perfect bleed offset, and we've got some nice boxes ready to go. We'll knock out the parts here real quick. My favorite pizza box. If you watched any of my videos, you're seeing tons of pizza boxes being made. Why not, right? And so, obviously we could print on both sides. We can actually crease on both sides. And if you were V-cutting, we could also V-cut on both sides, depending on what you got. But, oops, I folded it in the wrong spot there. But anyway, there you go. Nice box, all ready to rock. So hopefully this helps understand the workflow for processing both sides. Thanks.